We are nearing the end of June, which means the end of Pride Month. Pride is an opportunity for our LGBTQ plus friends to come together and celebrate those who fought and continue to fight for equality and acceptance. Today, the president and first lady welcomed advocates, faith leaders, and politicians to the East Room. Who better to kick off the shindig than Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg?
Those youth who wonder whether they belong, and especially to those for whom doubt or fear or danger mean you still can't live fully as your true self. Know that a whole lot of us have your back, starting at the top. And yes, happy Pride.
Pride Month represents so much. It stands for courage. The courage of all those in previous generations and today who proudly live their truth. It stands for justice, both the steps we've taken and the steps we need to take. And above all, Pride Month stands for love.
Earlier, President Biden designated the site of the Pulse nightclub shooting in Florida as a national memorial. And joining me now is George Takei, actor, author, and activist. And it's always great to talk to you, George. Thank you for being here. I'm going to give you my live long and prosper because you did it. You gave me one earlier. Let's talk about this. So Brandon Wolf, my good friend Brandon Wolf, who survived the Pulse shooting, was there. He tweeted about the being in the East Room for this Pulse nightclub designation, talking about the 49 of his friends will never be forgotten. What does that mean? What do you think that the significance of creating that memorial will be?
It is profound because it capsulizes all of the struggle and the fight against homophobia and all that we've had to go through to get to the point where we are now. And to memorialize those places is an important, to make it a landmark is an important act. And another important landmark event was what the clip that you showed in the White House. I mean, Pete Buttigieg, the first eminently credible candidate for the presidency of the United States, and now on the President's cabinet as a Secretary of Transportation, and to have Joe Biden himself there in the White House. We are making great progress, and it is certainly a month of pride and celebration.
So we were like furiously writing down. We're like, let's think of all the the good things that have happened that we can celebrate that went well. And you mentioned Pete Buttigieg, who made history. Also, my girl Karine Jean-Pierre, who was the first LGBTQ person to take the podium and do as a White House press secretary. She's the deputy press secretary. You've had an executive order in January signed by the president banning discrimination based on gender identity and sexual orientation. A record number of LGBTQ people in the administration. And, of course, NFL player Carl Nassib, for football fans, who plays for the Raiders, who they should be in Oakland, but whatever, they in Vegas now. I mean, there is a lot that is good, but there are still challenges, George. I mean, we are seeing trans kids just beaten about.
There are
right?
other positives that we mustn't forget. I mean, the mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot. And she's got a tough job, and she's a strong woman who can handle it.
Yeah, but the things that sort of still we have to worry about. I mean, trans children are really being, placed in a horrible position. Black trans women have been killed at record numbers. We're seeing the trans community really zeroed in on in a way that politically to make them sort of an independent villain. What can we do to be supportive, do you think, as we're so celebratory of what's happening for the LGB part and for the T?
It's part of the whole struggle, and the struggle is particularly in the South now against the transgender community. In Florida, just this month, they banned participation in girls' athletics by transgender women. Same thing happened last month or a few months ago in Arkansas, where our family was imprisoned during the Second World War. And I have many friends in Arkansas, and I love Arkansas and Little Rock, but it's still one of those areas where we have our battles to fight.
Yeah. Intersectionality is so important, since we're all getting to know who Kimberly Crenshaw is, at least some folks are. She coined that term. And for you, who's a person of color, who's also, a gay man, can you talk a little bit about how the challenges remain, if they remain in your view, in communities of color, for young people who are coming out in cultures where it might be more difficult than it is, here, or in families that are more conservative? Like, what is that sort of differentiation, do you think?
Exactly. I mean, families of color are no different than the larger communities of families. We have retrogressive or conservative families, and it's still a serious problem. And especially for me as an actor, most of my adult life was spent in the closet. I was 68 when I came out because I was tired of gritting my teeth and swallowing the ugly taste. In California, back in 2005, when I first came out, a landmark event happened. The legislature of California, both houses, Senate and the Assembly, passed the marriage equality bill. Only one state at that time had marriage equality. That was Massachusetts, and they got it through the state Supreme Court. We did it with the legislature, the people's representative. But that bill needed one more signature, that of the governor. And the governor at that time happened to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, who campaigned for the governor's office by touting the fact that he's from Hollywood, he's worked with gays and lesbians, and yet, despite that campaign, when the bill landed on his desk, he vetoed it. And that got me so angry that I came out.
Well, we are glad that you did, and we're glad that you're our friend. George Takei, live long and prosper. You are great. Happy Pride to you, sir. Thank you so much.